searching on this on the projector.
No slides. That's what y'all get. Top block. There's only 6 of us. Think not you're getting my fancy, or I should say mods fancy animation transitions. Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah. So yeah. F5 doesn't work here, but I guess you'll figure it out.
What do you mean?
F5, like present.
I mean, it's in French, so.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna move this to the side, like homeboy did.
Why you need to do that?
Want my notes.
Ah, okay.
I assume I just gotta push this one. Yep. All right. Testing, testing.
everyone who's already heard about this before, thanks for coming. Yeah, we were good to go, I assume? Yeah, everything's, all right, cool. Hey everyone, my name is Drew Harding. I'm one of the founders of MetaFactory. Super excited to talk to you guys about what we're doing. We recently, earlier this week, released an article talking about the vision, approach, everything that we've been working on, the goals behind this. So if you know, if at the end of this you want some more meat, you can go check that out from our homepage. But since you're here today, I'm actually going to go into the detail and talk a little bit about it. So what inspired MetaFactory? Combination of streetwear, gaming, digital art, NFT art, and crypto economics. In a nutshell, MetaFactory is a crowdfunding platform for the creation of limited run custom goods with an initial focus on fashion and apparel. More specifically, we're focused on creating the world's first digi-physical brands. That means apparel that exists both as physical unit as well as a digital wearable in virtual worlds metaverse. We manage all the production and fulfillment, creation of these products on behalf of our artist partners. We also obviously manage the auction platform and community engagement, marketing of all this. So all they need to do is focus on their art. As a result of this, we're actually democratizing the brand creation experience and giving them an opportunity to create products that are normally come from an elusive, hard to penetrate industry. We're also rewarding buyers and participants in this auction as well through profit sharing. And we believe that creators and communities together, as a result of having these aligned incentives, are going to be able to create culture economies that are highly resonate and like fuel growth as a result. So, actually, this bad boy. So yeah, this quote behind me by Dr. Charles Sager talks about belongingness being kind of a core fundamental need. And taking a look back at our inspiration and specifically streetwear, you can argue that a lot of the success of brands like Yeezy and Supreme are driven by the scarcity, driven by the secondary market sales potential. But I actually believe it's a reflection of the power of community. The desire to be a part of something bigger, to be a part of something that resonates with your lifestyle, to be a part of something exclusive or cool. And fashion as a form of art is actually extremely powerful in that it's an expressive choice. It's a reflection of who we are, or at least how we want to be seen. And I think that's even more relevant when you start talking about our digital selves, right? We have the ability to be anyone we want in the digital space. As a result, we're typically more bold, more expressive in those choices. The need to personalize digital avatars and whatnot comes from also a desire for actualization. And in that case, you have the opportunity to portray the me that is the real me. And sometimes you may not be comfortable, confident, or even have the ability to do that in the real world. Also, looking at DeFi as kind of the core theme of adoption, as one of the huge drivers that's going to really push this industry forward. Taking a look at how many people that has actually resonated with, in the sense of, look, you can earn 8% passively by lending your assets and coming over, to this Web3 world, this decentralized DeFi money world. And in a culture, or in many places where 2 to 3% on a savings account is a lot, you'd think that would be a big enough carrot. But we've actually seen that to not necessarily be the case. So I actually believe that communities and culture are a much powerful driver in terms of adoption. And more specifically, I believe that physical goods as a gateway and as an entry point into a specific culture or a community can serve as a really powerful thing. From there, we can then introduce them to digital collectibles, to the metaverse, to things like DeFi, which we have wrapped into our offering as well, which we'll get into. So again, What's our inspiration? Obviously, streetwear, things that the Yeezy, the Supreme, the hypebeast culture, the scarcity that drives that sale and that interest. But also, where are we seeing that in our own space? Obviously, with NFT art, even the sale of lands in these virtual worlds. Decentraland, Crypto Voxels, Sandbox, Somnium, all of them have seen tremendous growth. NFT art and sales on platforms like Super Rare and Known Origin, again, huge growth and attention in the last 5 to 6 months specifically. You've seen the price points for these things start to really accelerate. Gaming. If you're not familiar with this guy, that is the RuneScape Blue Party hat. That's the original in-game swag. If you had that, you were among the cool kids in RuneScape. But yeah, thinking about gaming even further, gaming as an industry revenue has, it actually has overcome the revenue achieved is more than both music and movie industries combined, as I believe as of around 2017. You look at properties like Fortnite, League of Legends, driven by Riot, and these economies, the revenue of these companies are driven primarily by aesthetics, emoticons, dances, ways of personalizing that have no effect on gameplay. And you're talking about multi-million-dollar companies. Throw in some crypto economics and physical goods, obviously very inspired by the Unisocks experiment, pegging socks to a token bonding curve. Obviously, Saint Fame did something similar just recently with the release of their shirt. Been watching all this closely, but mix it all together, what do you get in a PowerPoint very slow version? This is awesome. MetaFactory. So, and while we're at it, why not throw in a little bit of FOMO 3D? So to really boost the game theory and to make this a fun experience, right? To really build community and culture around these things. Thanks to Web3, smart contract, blockchain tech, we've been able to really explore what these means, and again, like these opportunities mean, and the possibilities around brand economy creation. Last but not least, we now have the opportunity to also create provably rare digital swag, specifically for these virtual worlds. So what is this you see behind me? This is the MetaFactory Vaporwave Pagoda. It exists in Crypto Voxels. It was built in collaboration with a French artist, A Lot of Money. If you're not familiar, amazing crypto artists in the space. And I'll give you a little walkthrough here. The bottom floor is actually where we'll be hosting auctions directly. Users can walk in, see what auction, what's available, click on the link, go right out to our auction platform and buy. Second floor will be where a lot of the wearables that are available will be hosted, seen. We'll also be hosting secondary sales from other individuals. Third floor is essentially a meeting place and gallery of all the kind of works that are shared amongst the MetaFactory team and whatnot. But you're seeing with the explosion of NFT art, with the sale of virtual lands, also the sale of wearables and collectible wearables. I believe for a minute, obviously this is changing very quickly, the wearables in Decentraland were hitting around number 4 for most sold and traded NFTs. So how does this work? Creators come to MetaFactory, bring their designs. We can work with everything from sketches, Photoshop files, Illustrator, rather crude. We collaborate with our production partners to create technical drawings. We're very, very focused on the ground up creation, cut and sew, custom works. Not so much the on-demand printing that you can get from many different services and companies that are available today. We can produce anything from hats to shirts to hoodies, jeans, sweats, exploring shoes. Shoes is a tricky one because fit and sizing obviously has many challenges, but something we definitely want to get to. As I mentioned earlier, MetaFactory handles all the production, fulfillment, packaging, the promotion of the auction, marketing. You know, we're the tech platform, but we have the relationships with our production arms. And again, this enables creators to just focus on their work and to really democratize this process. Lastly, the profits from the sale are split between MetaFactory, the artist, and the community supporters themselves, the buyers. This is, again, incentive alignment and something we think is a really powerful thing and, again, in building new brand economies. So here is an example of an auction. We've actually created multiple auction and sales strategies that we'll be offering. This is one that we think is particularly powerful and will kind of tick the box for most all those involved, including supporters, artists, and platform. It's essentially a blind bid auction with a limited timer, a limited duration. Most of these auctions we're anticipating will last about a week. And the way this works is users or people who are interested in buying this jacket would submit the max price they're willing to pay for this unit, knowing that they'll actually pay less. So how does that work? The highest bidder will actually win the first item, but they will pay the second highest bidder's price. The second highest bidder will pay the third, fourth, so on. It's a take on a Vaporwave auction, if you're familiar with that. Any refund between what you've bid and what you actually pay will be immediately refunded to you at the end of the auction. And there's also a hidden reserve price that's driven by the production cost that sets a bottom. It's hidden because to expose would mess with the game theory a bit, but in order to give buyers some inclination of where this should be priced or what they can expect, we'll be exposing an MSRP retail price that will give them some kind of a guide or an anchor, if you will. We're also limiting the supply so that only the top bids will win. We'll be able to tell people when they're knocked out, etc. Each winning bid receives, or each winning item receives a pro rata share of the profit based on the order. So the highest bidder with the first item would receive the largest amount of that supporter's profit pool, etc. This is the first unit that we'll be releasing. It's a MetaFactory brand product. Main reason for that is simply we're interested in dog fooding the experiment, and if, you know, as we work through any kinks that may pop up, we don't want to expose those to any of our artist auctions, for instance. As you can see, this is a reversible jacket. It was designed by MetaDreamer in collaboration with Peter Pan for the reverse back, but front and back, and then reverse front and back. We really wanted to push the limits of what we could do with production and also show our artists what could be done in terms of a completely ground up, custom, cut and sew design. So, you know, I talked a little bit before about how communities are more or could be more powerful than DeFi, but why not both? You know, we actually can use this as an opportunity that's you know, we believe this physical unit acting as a gateway or an anchor point to bring people into the space and captivate or capture new audiences. We can actually lead them down this path. And the way we're doing that, we're pretty excited about, is we're actually infusing that proportionate share of the profit that you have earned based on your order number into the digital collectible itself, meaning it will hold that value as a base level. And we're using Chai, meaning it's also automatically interest bearing. So it will start appreciating naturally. The other cool piece about this is if you want to extract the actual base value that we've infused into that unit, you have to burn it, making all the other items more scarce and theoretically more valuable as well. So this is a pretty new concept for NFTs. We're super excited to introduce it as something in our in the offering of MetaFactory. And you know, we believe that the digital side will actually start to propel the platform forward and actually carry these brands more so than the physical unit. But it really depends on the user themselves, what they see as more important, more valuable, and likely they're going to bid accordingly. As I showed, we're starting with first our own branded jacket, but we're doing collaborations officially announced with these four: Twisted Vacancy, A Lot of Money, Van, and Skinny, along with many others in queue. We're going to be starting with Twisted Vacancy. I've already seen a glimpse of what he's produced, and it's pretty amazing. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, if you want to learn more about us, Twitter @the MetaFactory, email hello@metafactory.ai. You can also go to metafactory.ai. There's a link to our Telegram Genesis community, and the article that I mentioned earlier if you want kind of a deeper dive into the why and the what of what we're doing. And that's us.
We have time for one question.
Questions?
Hi, you talk about NFTs, and how do you link the shirt or the goods with the actual token? Is there any
The physical unit with the digital unit?
Yeah.
So we're not trying to solve the provenance or like the tracking of the two units together. That's a very hard, challenging thing. In fact, doing so also kind of limits the possibilities of that digital unit and the owner of the digital wearable to be able to trade it on the open market. One thing we're doing, which we're also pretty excited about, is we're talking with the Cash team about using their silicon chips, putting them in our care labels of our jackets and garments. But that's more to a metadata association to say this was the first unit sold and it's associated to this thing. It could trade separately, independently. Technically, there's a lot of options. The two could trade together. They could trade independently. It could be the way the profit sharing piece works too. You can take the interest off, but the base value is infused. So maybe the interest has been taken off the digital. So there's all sorts of game theory pieces involved in that. But yeah, that's not really a problem we're trying to solve. Yell it out. I'll talk to you outside. Thank you.